used to the lack of videos lately. Turns out having a kid is like a thing. I'm sure everyone who's had a kid knows this, but right, we're going to give the van some love. It's been playing up for ages and I haven't had time to do anything with it, to the point where now the last thing I used it for was to get the Beetle, which didn't go very well. It was in fault for most of the journey. So clear the space at the front of the workshop. Weather's out at the moment, so we're going to have so I can work on it with the door open. We've got various parts to fit. Now, almost all the parts are second hand, but are in better condition than the ones on my 240,000 mile Sprinter. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll get it in and have a look at what we're going to do. Right, just about fits. Should have checked the new floor a bit more carefully before I reversed it under it, but it fitted, so we're alright. Right, with this, we've got coolant leak, which I think is the EGR cooler, which I've got an EGR cooler. We've got a fault code which is 2263, which I think is inlet manifold bolts are broken. So we're going second hand, but hopefully in better condition than the one we've got in that manifold. And we've also got an exhaust stud snapped. I've got a new gasket and stainless steel exhaust studs to replace it with. There is a bit hanging out, so hopefully I should be able to get it out, but we'll see. But obviously to get to that involves taking the exhaust and turbo, quite a lot of stuff off really. So, made a coffee. It's all down there. So I think we're going to start by taking some simple stuff off. It doesn't seem to be leaking now. I have got a pressure tester, coolant pressure tester thing, which I bought off Wish. I wonder if I have got an adapter. We'll come back. I'm playing a bit with my Wish pressure tester. It's doing something, but not quite what we want. So I'm going to strip this stuff off the top of the engine and see where we go from there. Pack some bits. This is the EGR cooler and valve assembly, which looks roughly the same. That's the inlet manifold, and what these tend to do apparently is snap the inlet manifold distorts and they snap these bolts. And this is a second hand decent one. If we have a look in here, see we've got rusty water across the bottom of the cooler, and downwards from there onwards. I want to do the inlet manifold as well really. This looks quite involved. I'm going to get a tray to put under it, break the coolant line system, drain some of that out, get the fuel filter, which is rusty, so I need a new fuel filter anyway. Get the fuel filter out of the way, and then I think there's a bracket which holds the fuel filter. We can unplug a wire in. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare. Right, nothing to it but to do it. As a wise man on YouTube once said, let's try taking some stuff off. We're in the history of, well, me working on cars. Pull this pipe off which goes to the heater, I think, and coolant does not smell good. So I think all the coolant has gone into my safety band. Nice. Right, let's take some more stuff off. Back, and it's a day later, and I kind of wish I'd never started this. We'll go through in a bit more detail how I've done it. Exhaust manifold is off. That was the one that was leaking, the back one. I had these Irwin sockets, so I thought, oh, easy job. Whack one of them on it, job done, out it'll come. But they don't go down small enough. So I think yes, I've got to turn. There we go. Right. So we're going to clean that manifold up, find the new gasket and the new studs, which I bought years ago. With this EGR thing, we are getting there. I've got these 4 bolts which hold this rear section together. I've got 3 of them out. I've nearly got the 4th one out. I'm hoping when that is out of the way, should be able to get this inlet manifold off. I want to get it apart today if we can. Yeah, let's get this stuff. Now I'm not sure. I might have to take this actuator off to get clearance, because most of the studs came out with the nuts like that. So it didn't have that much of a problem to get the manifold out. To get the new one back in when there's a full, however many it is, 10 say studs, could be more difficult. We'll keep plodding away. Right, several hours later, and most of the van is on the floor. Not as bad as I thought once you've done it, because then you know, you know what I mean. So you've seen exhaust manifold. Held a straight edge up to it, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on this, but it ain't straight. So that's going to the machine shop. Hopefully he's going to try and skim it back to flat for me. So now I need to, before that can go back on. Inlet manifold can go back on now. Then we can start building this side back up again. EGR cooler, EGR and EGR cooler complete thing. If I'd known, I probably would have took it off in one piece because it would have been easier. There's 2 bolts which go in this way at the back. One into this bracket. Oh no, two into this bracket and 1 into that bracket. And then something, I don't know. This has been a colossal pain in the butt. But I think we're getting it. We can start going back together now. So hopefully most of I think I know where everything goes. Should be fine. Yeah, so that's going to have to be skimmed, and then we'll have a look when we're putting it back together. I'll go through in a bit more detail. It hasn't gone so well this morning. That's my new exhaust manifold gasket. That's my old one. So that is, I've just ordered the correct one, because luckily there was a part number on here, 65114200580. So we've ordered that. Dirt on the wing there. So see one stud didn't come out, so this seems fine, so I didn't bother messing with it. So cleaned all the threads out, put the new stainless studs in. Manifolds off at the machine shop being skimmed. Cleaned this side up, ready for the new, to me, exhaust manifold. So that's the first bit that's going to go on, and then start trying to remember what goes on next. It'll be great. Stupid van. I haven't filmed much of this because it was harsh. Basically, inlet manifold back on, which is 8 bolts. Tighten that up. Slide this fuel filter hose holder back into the coolant pipe. I did a slight bodge there because I got the standard clip caught. It rotated anyway. That back on, 2 bolts into the head, 2 bolts down. Then there's like a elbow which goes off the turbo pipe that goes under the end, or comes back from the intercooler, goes onto the inlet manifold, and then there's 2 bolts going onto the block, and then EGR cooler. Now, I couldn't get the EGR cooler complete in until I undid these air conditioning pipes and gently moved them out the way. I'm hoping that's going to give me a bit more space to get my hand in to get the bolts on. And then we should be getting somewhere with this side of the engine, I think. Assuming this EGR cooler doesn't leak and it works. But yeah, it's tricky. Finally get to finish the van. Hopefully finish the van. This is not my original exhaust manifold. Due to some slight problems, let's not go into it any more than that, I appear to have lost my original manifold. Not really my fault, but we won't go into it. I bought this, it was 23 quid on eBay. It wasn't, see it does that? This one is slightly distorted. So what we've got is a thick metal plate, roll of sandpaper, and we're going to do, I've done a bit already, but I used up the sandpaper. You can see it's taking it off these two. These are practically not touched down, so I want to get it so that they're all level, which I didn't think sandpaper would take cast iron off, but it appears to be doing something because you've got all this metal dust here. So yeah, I'm going to clamp this in the vise, clamp sandpaper over the top and go for it. So at the moment, look, you can see this one hasn't started, so we need to get it so they're all this finish. Right, let's crack on. Right, this is our setup.
you're seeing, this is high for some reason. So I've been working on bringing that one down. Then we'll work on lapping them all in at the same time. So just been cue the several hours later graphic, slightly out of breath and sweaty. I think that's as good as we're going to get this. It's really not bad now compared to what it was. It's very slight, but I'll give it another 2 minutes. I don't know if I showed you, but I ordered an exhaust manifold gasket off eBay, and it turned out it's completely the wrong one. The original one had a part number on it. This one is A651142058. Now, assume it's that way, which it is. So it's just, it came, even though it was off eBay, it came from a Mercedes dealer in the Midlands. So it's a triple layer. As we said, all the manifold studs are new and stainless steel, and we've got some funky nuts to go on in them. Let's see if the problem we're going to have. When I took this off, all the studs came out, which gave us enough clearance to come up and out. Now with the new studs on, I think this is going to be in the way, but we will see. We will meet and we will eat. We will meet and eat meat. Okay. Here's a bit of a tappy. It slipped in there lovely. I thought I was going to have to take this actuator off. It's a bit of a struggle on these back two bolts, but now you know they're there. Even they're not too bad. To get this, that sensor looks like it's long enough, and it goes in the right place. That goes across and connects somewhere here. Yeah, so we're going to put that gasket in, and then it shouldn't even be too bad. Right, alright, yeah, so I've got fancy they're not night locks, they're mechanical fixing nuts, again stainless steel. So get those on, get that tightened up, and then work on the other bits. Right, a few hours later, it wasn't actually that bad to do, but obviously it's all new bolts and everything. Everything's all, I'm not going to say torqued up because I didn't torque it up. It's tight, pretty tight. Did I tighten up? Yeah, right. Everything's pretty tight. We've got this green, I suppose that's the lambda sensor, plugged back in. This one, which I'm assuming is O2, which the plug is like right under here. It's a bit of a nightmare to get to. All those are plugged back in. That one is the one coming from the turbo to the airbox. And then there's two, one for the airflow meter, one for the, I assume, air temperature sensor in the airbox. So I'm going to put this pipe back on, which goes to a breather and a rocker and the turbo there. And then I got a new air filter to go in. Put that in the box and put some coolant in. And then the scary will it start moment. Oh dear. It'll be fine, we're confident. Lots of bolts left over. We'll go through them in a second and see if... I've also got this bracket left over, which looks... it's quite a meaty bracket. Oh, no, it doesn't go on there. Oh, might have a Google of the part number later. A651-098-1639. Can't be that important. Yeah, what problem I made the mistake of going and buying some new bolts. So these long ones were replaced with new. The exhaust, that's the broken exhaust stud. The new exhaust studs, which we've got spare. Where's the new nuts? There they are. So we put them to one side. So basically got that many left over. That's quite a lot. I know what two of them are. So that one, and I think that one. And then we replaced some with Allen key bolts. There's one that appears to clip a pipe somewhere. Don't know where that is. Ah, it'll be fine. Alright, let's get these last bits back on. Like I say, put some antifreeze in it and let's see if it'll start. Take two. Now with the GoPro that's not completely full. Right. I've pulsed ignition on twice. But we will do it again. It's doing stuff. a little bit rattly down there. Didn't it before. Okay. Well, it might have sounded rattly. Alright, so we cancel off some of our... Oh, that's it. Alright, let's get our heaters on. And... no. Right, get some more coolant into it. Get some more coolant into it and we'll come back. Looks like it's a bit twisted, but it's just parked on a funny right, tie up. This bracket is part of the EGR assembly, which I stripped to get out, so we don't have to worry about it. I googled the part number. It's also why I've got a load of bolts left over, is because I took the EGR cooler and valve out in sections, so all the bolts for each section are there, so I'm not worried about that. That's why I put too much in the header tank and it's overflowed. This morning I did, where's that gone? Oh, drop links on both sides because I got a knock. Hopefully I'll sort that out. And one pad wear sensor on the front, the wire was broken, which is that one. So we have zero faults on the dashboard for the first time in quite a while. We're going to go and just go up the road a little bit, see what happens. Why didn't I do all that sooner? It's like a different van. Still very dirty, but rusty in places, no covered in greasy handprints, but it drives like a different van. It pulls so much better without that. You must have been losing loads of turbo boost pressure from that leak. Now, so we're on 241, 634 miles. We've got no fault codes whatsoever on anything. Temperatures come up nicely. We've got a good bit of heat coming through the heaters, no low coolant. Yeah, so we're happy. This is done, thank God. I may use it, got a trip next week, may use it, we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you all later. Take care. Bye bye.